Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and today I wanted to talk about covert narcissists' ability to have cognitive empathy. So in the textbooks, or when you learn a lot about narcissism, a lot of people talk about how narcissists cannot have empathy, but that's not in every case. Not everyone can relate to that. Some people are like, hey, my mom or my dad, they were narcissistic, they had a lot of qualities, but they had a lot of qualities of narcissism, but they actually did show times of empathy. So I'm confused. Does that mean that they're not a narcissist? But it's not that. It's that covert narcissism isn't talked about enough, and the fact that it is a much more manipulative and sneaky type of narcissism. So we're gonna talk about that today, so that way people who are like confused about why their parent or their partner or the person they have in their life that matches a lot of narcissism, why or how they're able to have this ability to have this empathy, and if it still means that they're a narcissist. So covert means that it's something that's hidden and it's sneaky, it's coverted. And so when it comes to the covert narcissist, their empathy is selective, it's manipulative, and it's very superficial. So do they feel genuine empathy? Probably not, but they can imagine what they are supposed to feel and what it looks like. Same way, there's psychopaths out there that imagine what empathy could look like, but they don't genuinely feel that empathy. And you can tell they don't genuinely feel that empathy because if something affects them, the empathy goes completely out the window. So like they may show empathy for a dog and like feeling bad that the dog is sick, but the minute that the sick dog affects the narcissist, that empathy goes out the window. All of a sudden they don't have that same empathy. So you may notice little things like that. So let's talk about some ways that they may show empathy. One is feigning concern. So the narcissist may show concern or empathy to gain others' approval. The covert narcissist may pretend to care about others' feelings to gain others' approval, or to set out a certain image, or to achieve some sort of goal. Maybe they know that you are a very empathetic person and they want to date you, so then they will also, try to mirror that empathy, because a lot of the empathy is mirrored since they don't genuinely feel it. Their concern can seem genuine on the surface, but it often lacks depth and sincerity. The next is selective empathy, and it's something I talk about a lot on my channel. They may show empathy towards individuals that they deem as useful or important for their own needs. So if they want you or a certain person on their side, they will show empathy towards this person. This selective empathy can make them appear caring and considerate in certain contexts. So again, if you have something they want, or you're gonna help them achieve a certain goal, or if they deem you as useful, then they will show some type of empathy towards you. But again, it will seem surface level or not very depth, and it won't last very long. If something else gets in the way or you frustrate them, all of a sudden the empathy goes out the window. Genuine empathy doesn't have a time, or it's not conditional. The next is emotional mimicking. They might mimic selective empathetic behaviors or things that they've heard from other people. They will say the right thing and show the appropriate emotional response. And they do this without truly understanding the emotion behind it. They just know that they see other people doing it, and this is what makes sense to do, and this is what the general public does, and they see the reactions and how other people respond to people that are empathetic, and so they then mirror it. The next is gaining trust. So by displaying empathy, they may have learned that they gain trust and vulnerability of others, and they also notice that they gain admiration of others. They get praised for doing it, and they realize they can later exploit this for their own gain. This can be particularly effective in relationships where the narcissist needs to appear understanding and compassionate and warm and supportive. So if you call out the narcissist for maybe not being a certain way, they may whip this card out, or if they need to gain something in like a partnership one-on-one, and to gain your love or your admiration, again, they will pull this card out. Or they may do this in the beginning of relationships, or as a parent, they may do this to you to get you to do something for them, maybe reveal something to them, or to do something for them. I would say this definitely messes a lot of people up with when it comes to having this type of empathy and gaining that trust, because since it's not genuine, it then eventually becomes a betrayal, because not only are you not experiencing true empathy from this person, but you also are getting tricked, which then leads to a feeling of betrayal, because it's not consistent and it's not genuine, and then they get what they want and then they are just mean all over again. So then you regret being vulnerable with them or leaning on them and seeing them as someone you can confide in, because they tricked you. And this is something that manipulates a lot of people into being vulnerable and opening up to a narcissist when they shouldn't. The next is avoiding criticism. So surprisingly enough, demonstrating empathy can help them avoid any type of criticism. And not only that, but it also maintains a facade that they are a good person. They may use empathetic gestures to deflect from their narcissistic behaviors. They try to manipulate the narrative and make you see them as better than they are. Or if they show any type of like vulnerability or empathy, you then will, you know, lower your guard and feel bad for maybe pointing something negative out to them about them or criticizing them. So they notice that it's a good manipulative tactic to get people on their side, so they don't get any form of criticism, or they can't guilted or shamed about things, because they are seen as like, oh, a good person, like, oh, you know, they don't mean it, oh, they're so empathetic and they're being really kind right now, like I don't have to criticize them about this thing, or I don't have to confront them about this thing. They're showing some understanding. The next is manipulation. Covert narcissists may use empathy as a manipulative tool. They do this by making others feel guilted, obligated, or indebted to them by expressing empathy towards them. Like, oh, I was really kind to you when you were going through this thing. I wish that you would return the favor. Maybe things like that. This is strategic empathy, and it can help them control or influence others. And it can help them control or influence others to meet their needs. So as you can see, these are all very surface level, you know, ways to show empathy. It's not the true feeling. It often lacks genuine emotional depth, and it's very self-serving, where it is to fulfill their own needs rather than truly understanding and trying to support others. So if you have someone in your life that is showing this selective empathy, be careful, be wary, be aware that, you know, it's not genuine. You can even put out some feelers, and see like what happens if it affects them, like this thing that's trying to be empathetic. Like what happens if like something gets in the way and it involves them or hurts them in some sort of way? Is that empathy still there? Probably won't. So as you can see, coverts use empathy as a manipulative tool and tactic. So does that, I can't answer if you're the person in your life that you're wondering is a narcissist or not. I can't tell you if that's the case because I cannot diagnose. But don't think that just because someone in your life that shows a lot of narcissistic tendencies has empathy, that means they can't be narcissistic, because that's not true. It's just not studied enough or talked about enough. So what do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. Guys, I have a secret. I'm not wearing makeup for the first time on YouTube. Like, that's a big deal. No one actually cares, but I mean, that's a big deal for me because I'm going outside the comfort zone, outside the box. Subscribe if you think I look ugly.